Hi, Scott Livingston from Reconditioning HQ here, talking to you from the Athlete Farm up in Mont Tremblant. I'm going to talk today about the concept of training stability versus training balance. And a toy that's often used to train these things is the BOSU, which I have one behind me and I'm going to go to in a second. But what I want to draw your attention to is the difference between training stability and training balance. When we're training stability, what we're trying to do is we're trying to challenge the capacity to stabilize. And stabilization is essentially the instantaneous management of joint congruency. So what's happening in the body is the body is managing the joint surfaces, trying to keep them as congruent as possible through a motion. And that creates a point of fixation for one bone to move on another bone. That stabilization is managed by numerous muscles and it's oversought by the CNS. So the CNS receives input, it interprets what's going on and it creates output and it manages and defines the movement pathway. That's stabilization. Balance is working on getting our body outside its base of support and returning it to that place. So when we want to work on balance, there's an element of stability involved and there's an element of proprioception involved. But if our focus is working on stability, in other words, good joint congruency and the management of that and giving the body proprioceptive rich information about where the joint is and where we want it to be, we need to focus on the congruency and the control versus getting everything to be all over the place. So I'm just going to show you the difference on the BOSU right now. So if I take a BOSU flat side up and I want to work on foot, knee, and hip stability, I'm going to step onto the BOSU and I'm going to first make sure that I essentially get my foot ankle position set up in a centrated position. So that's neither all the way into pronation or all the way into supination, all the way into dorsiflexion. We want to be slight dorsiflexion, sitting on top of that foot, owning that foot position. We want that knee to be sitting over top of the foot with a slight bend, and we want that hip sitting underneath our pelvis and our pelvis to be square, not dumped. Okay? So I'm holding this position, and in the beginning I'm trying to control it and deal with the perturbation of the BOSU. Okay? The difference from that and balance would be, balance I might have an object thrown at me or move an object around my body and get out of my base of support and work to get back into it. I'm not so concerned about the congruency and position of my ankle joint. Okay? So if I'm working on the stability of the ankle joint, stability and positioning of the knee, or stability and position of the hip, or the control of the pelvis above it, and the body's ability to stabilize and control, I'm focusing on good joint congruency, then I want to make sure that quality is represented in the action that I'm doing. If I don't care and I'm just working on balance and I want to work on getting outside the base of support and returning to, that's another kettle of fish. So let's make sure when we're working on something, we understand what it is we're trying to do. So that's, does the intention meet the outcome? So when we talk about exercise selection or the modality or what we do or the progression or regression, does the intention meet the outcome? In this instance, if the outcome is to improve balance, then we want to get that body outside the base of support. If the outcome is to improve the stabilization of each joint in that system, then we have to do some focusing on joint position. Okay, I hope that is understandable. We'll be back next time with some more information. If you've got any comments, drop them in the box below. Thanks.